So my role and background is really starting in dentistry, probably back around about 2007, I think it was. And that was really due to two of my friends being dentists and having dental practices with no management. So I kind of changed from an IT background, went into dentistry, and then moved to dentistry in the square, which was really the first practice of what has now become the Pain Free Group in 2012. And obviously started there as practice manager and kind of and now I'm group business manager for the whole group, who at the moment we've got sort of 14 practices just now. So yeah, I have been through all the different roles within the practice and in dentistry. I think what made us enroll in the boot camp was we've got a lot of fairly new managers, either via that's came to us because the group is growing, or they've came to us through acquisition. And I think, what we're very big on is kind of core values, we're service, and we felt that we're leadership, that leadership needs to come from the top down. So what we wanted was for us as a leadership team, and then our management team, to make sure that we were kind of all aligned in how we conduct ourselves as as that leadership team, to ensure that we've got that kind of strong leadership, rather than just thinking about it as management. I think the goals going into the course was that we wanted to make our managers more confident and stronger leaders, and the type of leader that we wanted to have within the company. There's lots of different leadership styles that you can think about. Some people lead by fear. What we felt was that the boot camp, with the type of leadership style that we wanted, basically fitted in with how we wanted to progress our managers in that leadership. So the boot camp aligned definitely with how we wanted to take that forward with our leadership team and our management team. Yeah, I would definitely say they were met, and probably beyond what we expected to be able to take out of it. So yeah, we were really happy, and when I've got the feedback from all of the team, which I think there was about 15 of us on it, every single one of them said that they thought it's probably one of the best things that we've actually put in front of them from a leadership point of view. There was a great balance of what I felt was coaching content, and it was great the way it was done via the 1 hourly weekly calls, and then obviously following up from the sort of homework type assignments. I think practice managers and sort of dentistry, they're always so busy, and it's trying to take that time out to develop our own selves. What was really good about this was it was manageable each week. So it allowed them to carry out their job, but also in between, with it being a weekly, they were able to take that sort of content from that 1 week and see how they could put that into action within that week before moving on to the next week. So yeah, I think that was the kind of strongest part of it. You helped massively. I think the knowledge on the subject, and you understand, I think you actually understood our core values and our culture before we started, because you'd sort of done that research on us as a company. So I think that helped you integrate what you wanted to do for the weekly content that was going to engage us and align with what we are as a group. And the 1 hour sessions, each session at the end of that, you would obviously say, anyone reach out to me through the assignment, through one-to-one basis. So the knowledge that you had and how it was conducted, and the 1 hour sessions, I think actually what you had with that was everyone fully engaged. because sometimes when sessions can drag out, you kind of lose that engagement. And I think that's why people took so much from it, because you were engaged fully for that 1 hour. I think there was a lot that I think we all took away from it. I wouldn't say there was anything that was unvaluable at all. But the most valuable and memorable to me personally, I think, was definitely the law of the thirds. Was just a light bulb moment for all of us, which then relates to the 3 to 4 steps of on, off, and on the bus. And I think traditionally we've spent too much time on that negativity rather than thinking about it being about the positive people that we have. So for us, that was definitely something personally I took away from it. I also took away from it the words, tone, and the physiology, that to stop hiding behind emails. I think nowadays it's too easy to do that and not strike up conversations. And that means that what's maybe a challenging conversation can actually escalate because of that. And then the final big thing for us was vision goals, because we sit as a leadership team quite often, every quarter we align our goals, what we're going to look at as a strategy for the company. But what we kind of probably failed to do, and I think that's what we realised when doing this, was the vision goals for each of the individual practices, because each of our practices are at different stages in the journey through acquisition. So I think for us, that's the one thing that I've got as a goal, is to develop the vision goals for each practice, and depending on what stage they're at within that framework with us. And then I know for each of the managers, the challenging conversations week that we did, because I think too many of them shy away from that. And the conversations tends to be around more kind of HR issues, which are urgent, what we should class as urgent important. So I think it gave them the tools to go away and look at how they could do that differently and actually deal with that as a challenging conversation, rather than being fearful of it, that give them the tools to actually be able to manage it properly. And then I think finally, the first day induction as well, we don't do that well. And as you say, first impressions counts, whether you're even meeting someone for the first time, or so starting in a company. A first impression is something that, again, was a bit of a wake-up call for us to say, we're not doing good enough, and we need to do better. So we are currently working on that framework as well, for what that looks like for your first day at work, and then for a kind of induction process that takes you through your kind of first 3 to 6 months. I think professionally, it's certainly helped in everyday scenarios. It's had a huge impact. There was just even a couple of situations, and what I tend to find myself saying quite a lot to managers when we're chatting about things is like, think about that great boss scenario. So we had something just actually this week, where we had an employee that's been on probation. She's just new. She's had her probationary period extended. And the manager came to me and said, look, I really want to extend our probationary period again. So what we did was reflect on, okay, where's the 3 to 4 steps? We've tried and we tried and tried again. And she then came up with the realisation, actually, I'm going to go away and look at that and come back and said, you're absolutely right. It's time to break that cord. So that was one scenario that we've kind of looked at and reflected on the Great Boss training, because there is that tendency to try and keep going when actually she wasn't getting it, she didn't want it, and she wasn't capable of it. I think that's been one of the things. And then the same manager, in fact, had a situation where she became a keyboard warrior, of reacting to something that she could have sat back, taken time, and what she didn't do was have the challenging conversation. So that kind of escalated a bit. So she, again, was asked to go back, look at how she could have done better. And she actually came back and said, absolutely, if I'd had a conversation in the first place, my body language, my tone wouldn't have been taken out of context. So we're constantly using it as situations arise. And it's a great thing for us to be able to reflect so that we make sure we don't do that again. Yeah, I think that's a good couple of examples of it, where we've kind of used the course content. The challenging conversations again is something, because at the moment the managers are all good through their one-to-ones with people, and what we've also done as well as part of the one-to-one process, we've added in like maybe a scoring system for our core values that we didn't have before. After speaking with you, you know, we've added in kind of different the way we look at objectives, and we've added in looking at how we look at the challenging conversations and how we actually have them, so that it becomes constructive feedback and not a defensive. So I think because of with the core values and being able to do the challenging conversations, it takes the personal aspect out of it. I would definitely 100% recommend it. It's the sessions are the 1 hour short, which people may think are quite short, but it's impactful and it's engaging. So you're not getting bored and forgetting the good stuff, because then we've went on to lots of, you know, and they're losing concentration. So I definitely think that the way the course is run is really good. Mark, personally, when I listened to the managers, that was definitely the one thing that they've taken away from it, and would prefer to do further training like that, because they felt they were able to concentrate and action things right away, because it was short goals, if you know what I mean. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but for them it was impactful things that you could action quickly. I think if you're thinking about it, what I would say is don't just go ahead and do it. I've as I said earlier, I've heard myself already each week when speaking with our management teams, when we're going through some difficult things or discussing issues, that what my favourite sentence is becoming is go back to the Great Boss training. Okay, and think about that scenario again with the training that you've now had. Are you going to look at and do that differently now? And I think that's the most important thing is they start with us. They say it takes three months to form a habit, and that's the habit I want them to get into before they actually go and action something, or they're going to have that challenging conversation, or they're going to do that keyboard warrior. Go back and actually look at what you've learned and put that into action, because that will then help you get to where you should be.